Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the L1 show. Today is August 6th, and this week is going to be a little bit weird because this week has been a little bit weird for everybody. You notice Ryan's not here. It's just me and Wendell today. So
I don't even know what's happening.
We're changing scenes on the fly. The week has just been nutty. I spent most of
What's going on with the window capture?
Nothing good. Are we on the live stream?
Yeah.
Wait, are we live? We're not live streaming.
No, we're recording.
Wait, we're on the live stream.
No.
Oh, okay, no, never mind. You guys didn't see anything. You didn't hear anything about that.
Yeah, so anyway, our first story is about the Olympics because the Olympics.
That's pretty much all I saw this week was Olympic stories, to be honest.
I'm a little worried about France, though, because there's a lot of like counter spy happening in the name of the Olympics. And it's like, I didn't realize that was an Olympic sport, y'all.
Yeah. Apparently this is the time.
Yeah. So what was the headline?
Oh, you've got it in front. I can't read it all. French internet lines cut in latest attack during Olympics. Last week we covered a story about how the trains and stuff were not going, and now this is the latest one. Yeah,
a cabinet was broken into, but now like this is definitely calculated. Like the other one was like, okay, maybe the vandals just got really lucky, and it's like, no, this is actually like an intelligence operation.
Yeah.
These folks are. It's like, oh, we're going to let a lot of tourists into the country. That was a bad idea. Sort of bad.
I'm so innocent that part of me is like, but the Olympics are a time for unity. Why would you do this now? And it's like probably because there's so many tourists and because it sends a message.
There's a great also. I mean, if people don't have anything to do, there will be unrest. It's like there's no internet to go home to. It's like, wait a minute.
Say what you like about the French. They know how to burn a car.
Well, I think that's what somebody's hoping for, right? Is like
they'll just get crazy and go out on the streets. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of people getting crazy about things that they're passionate about.
If 1 million people sign a petition, a ban on rendering multiplayer games unplayable has a chance to become law in Europe.
This has been literally everywhere. It's a little hyperbolic, but basically it's saying as gamers, we're shelling out a lot of money for games, and they become unplayable rather quickly. What was the one that we played?
Oh, there's a lot. We play a lot on
It had the British robot.
Battleborn.
Yeah.
I actually, there are times where I'm like, I wouldn't mind going back to Battleborn, but the servers are gone. You can't play it. I still own it. It's in my library. But
yeah. So, Battleborn's going to fly under the radar. Classic WoW, that one doesn't so much fly under the radar because...
Overwatch 1 would probably be the biggest one from recent memory.
Yeah, it's like, no, we need to make money from now until the end of time. So Europe is saying, well... maybe there is something to letting people hack on games that technically belong to somebody else because they paid money for the game and it's unplayable because the server part of it's unreachable. So this is good. And
there's no community servers like it used to be with like Left 4 Dead or other games like that.
This is good in theory. There is a petition. If you're in the EU, go sign it, I guess, or look at it and see if it's worth.
They'll get to it eventually.
Consideration. I mean, right? It should be good. So
the story, I could not find this anywhere else. That's why it's a Reddit link. So sorry, everybody.
This one it really is nuts.
Yeah. So the TLDR here is this woman is talking about voter registration in Texas, and the main thing to take away from it is that it is kind of a dark pattern. Now I looked at it on their website, and it looks like someone has added copies since this was recorded. But it used to be like it said online voter registration. You clicked it, you filled out your information, and it said submit. But it was not immediately clear that it was just filling out like a printable form and that you had to actually go submit it somewhere, in person.
Yeah, so when you click submit, it doesn't actually file it. It just says, here's your document. And then you're supposed to take it from there and print it.
Which is crazy because it takes your social security number. And it's like, you just, okay. That seems wildly insecure. But now I did check it. I checked it right before we started, actually. And there is now copy underneath. It still says submit, but there's copy underneath it that's like, you still have to print it. And it's like, why even have this as an option?
Yeah, just...
check your voter registration.
Have them download the document and write it out. Or I guess a lot of people can't write, but it does seem like a dark pattern. Or are people... engagement challenge, are people in Texas like...
Or you think just, go to your local county clerk and just do it there. That's what you would tell people. Don't make them just print it and do it that way.
Speaking of exercises in futility.
Amazon paid almost $1 billion for Twitch in 2014. It is still losing money, which is insane.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I was going to say maybe not surprising considering how expensive it is to host video, but they do so many ads and other things on it. You'd think that they would have turned a profit by now. And they said even during the pandemic when they had peak viewership and they had a lot of big creators, it still was not enough to push them into profitability.
That's, I don't know. I don't know about that. I'd like to run the numbers on that because hosting and bandwidth and everything has gotten dramatically cheaper. And it's not like Twitch hosting or even for storing the video archives, it's not like they require flash storage.
And also they delete, if you're not a partner, they delete it after a week anyway.
Yeah.
So
why, a 20 terabyte hard drive is not that expensive. And you can have a cluster so you could lose an entire chassis of them. It really, something doesn't add up here. Now, if Amazon is structuring this as a tax shelter, this makes a lot more sense. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, engagement challenge. If you just do the napkin math here, the only way that this happens is if they're paying retail rates for Amazon. But nobody pays retail rates for Amazon.
Oh, especially not Twitch, which is a subsidiary of Amazon. I would think that they would give them a deal. They also pointed out something I hadn't thought about, where it said that Twitch was declining in popularity among younger people. People still watch streams, but short form content like TikTok is king now, and Twitch hasn't really made any sort of presence in that space.
That's alarming.
Yeah, I was like, we stream on Twitch twice a week if you guys ever want to see us there.
No, they don't. The headline here is fun.
Yeah, Ford trying to patent system that reports speeding vehicles to police. This is a snitch. This is a snitch bot.
Now, the good news is I think there exists prior art because of the lawsuit from the guy. Remember we covered the lawsuit? The guy's insurance went up, and it's because the insurance company paid LexisNexis to give them any information on that person. And in the LexisNexis database was his driving history because his car was reporting all of his driving history to LexisNexis.
So this is scarier, though, because if you're just driving a Ford, it will find other cars speeding around you and take pictures of it and image it and be and then snitch to the police. So even if you're not the one driving the Ford, you can still be snitched on by the Ford.
That's amazing.
This is a key marketing opportunity for another car company to be a car that won't snitch on you.
They can generate so much revenue for police forces all across the United States. And there definitely won't be mistakes in it. Did you know that you're driving through a construction zone? It's they took the construction zone down 2 years ago. Good luck proving that. It's anything that makes money accidentally is going to do terrible things, and people will just pay it to avoid the Kafkaesque nightmare of dealing with it.
Not even thinking about insurance companies too. We're just talking law enforcement right now.
Yeah. We're doing government and social, by the way. I think this is our first social story, but it's also really deeply depressing for humanity.
Yeah, Nebraska teen accused of derailing drain, recording the crash, and posting it online.
Don't do that.
17-year-old, they're pushing to have him tried as an adult.
Yeah. They showed up it was a cargo train. So
thankfully, yeah, it was a coal train.
No passengers or anything. It was $350,000 of damage, and he showed up. The investigators showed up and he said, "Hey, what's going on?" They're like, "I don't know. We're still trying to figure it out." And he's like, "You think maybe the switch was wrong?" And they go to look at the switch and the padlock was broken off. And
it was very clearly tampered with. And he was like, "Yeah, I did that." He was a train enthusiast, and it's there are other ways to show your enthusiasm for something other than being destructive. But what if it's good? It wasn't a cargo train. There was a conductor on board, and they tried to brake, and it was no. I mean, that's how trains work, but.
The switch is done incorrectly. No.
$350,000 worth of damage.
Those, that person's a little less sophisticated than the person causing train problems in France. So at least they've got that going for them. You definitely added our next story.
I did, yeah, because I've been watching it. House of the Dragon Season 2 finale leaks on TikTok and Twitter. I haven't watched the clips, but I am on a House of the Dragon Discord, and they've had to install a bot that was please do not post the clips here, do not post the clips here, and it posts every 10 minutes because people keep posting the clips because they're trying really hard not to get taken down by HBO. HBO has been very heavy on it because what they did here was that they released it in such a time frame is that your HBO Max subscription will roll over for another month, and this leaked 2 days before the end of the month.
Oh,
so people could have watched most of it
and then cancel their
canceled.
HBO Max.
Yeah, I think it was leaked. It was like Iceland's HBO.
You know what's even more insane to me? That this was leaked from Iceland's HBO? That people have HBO just to watch this show.
Yeah. This season, tell us what you guys think in the comments. I think this season is not as strong as the first one. I think that's a pretty common sentiment at this point, but it's been very, very slow.
Engagement challenge. Also, engagement challenge. What do you think about this?
Senators proposed digital replication right for likenesses extending 70 years after death.
Interesting. It's basically a slight modification of copyright law, as far as I can tell. So,
Yeah.
like, if you were, dying and you were writing a manuscript about your experiences dying, then after you die, that's copyrighted, life of the author plus 70 years. And so they're saying, well, maybe we should have those kind of rights to your likeness, and your rights to all that kind of stuff would extend with the estate, which kind of makes sense, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't hate this. I did think it was a little weird where like they carved out a lot of edge cases, like some that made sense, like parody and things like that, free speech. But then they also mentioned like biographies, and all I could think was like, do you really want generated images and video clips in something that's probably supposed to be a factual biography? Like, that seems weird to me, but it's like maybe we don't care about how people actually were. Like, we're just producing things to produce things.
We probably will get to a point with AI in the next, if not the next 5 years, certainly the next 10, where you could take something where the copyright is expired, like some of the early Sherlock Holmes novels, feed it to an AI, and just have the AI create the scene and create the story and like turn it into a screenplay and a movie or a series of episodes. Take a lot of compute.
Yeah.
But, the people that were building supercomputers in the 1970s probably couldn't conceive of the amount of compute that you can get for the same unit of electricity today.
Also, I discovered, speaking of Sherlock Holmes, the new movies, I think they came out in like the early 2010s, they're for free on YouTube. I was listening to soundtracks, and then all of a sudden there was an explosion in my headphones, and it was the start of the movie, and it's just all for free on YouTube, and I was like, why did it autoplay this?
Well, that actually ties in a little bit with like the Twitch story, because if Amazon can't make money on randos doing game content, but the movie content makes money from ads,
Yeah.
something is not right in Amazon's accounting.
Yeah, there's
Clearly.
apparently, I did not realize this, there are a lot of free movies on YouTube. Like, I think almost every Sherlock Holmes movie is on YouTube now.
Yeah, free with ads.
Yeah, well, not that I would ever condone using an ad blocker, but
My time is not free. Yeah, fun times. Also, this I think might be a missort, but it kind of goes with government, I guess.
yeah, Germany says China was behind a 2021 cyber attack on a government agency and summons its ambassador.
Ooh.
Never seems to do much. I guess they just fill out some paperwork. It's to create that paper trail probably for later on.
If you're on Team China and you're part of the team that was behind this, and you're looking at your watch going, it's 2024. You're thinking, our team did pretty good.
Yeah. We've been running a clock on this for a while. It took you guys a bit to find it.
It was a cyber attack on a federal agency, and basically they just wanted information. That's usually how it goes, is like when you're attacked, the first wave of the attack is about information and exfiltration. A lot of the time, secondary attacks come to do ransomware or encryption or whatever, and that's really just to make a horrible mess, because the first break-in usually leaves a lot of really good forensic evidence, and you can figure out a lot. But then if, rando thugs come in behind you and just generally make a mess of things, it's a lot harder to do forensics. And so that, as a matter of strategy and course, has become pretty normal. In fact, if you realize that you're caught, or you realize that, they're starting to suspect something, deploying malware to, that's just become
Cover your tracks, yeah.
standard operating procedure at this point. So the German investigation is actually really interesting. I hope there's some presentations about it at DEF CON, or more information about that leaks onto the internet, because it's those kinds of things, the postmortems on those are always really fascinating. So speaking of things that are postmortem and really fascinating,
Russia to allow crypto payments in international trade to counter sanctions.
well, this is only a matter of time, wasn't it?
Yeah, is that surprising? I'm surprised this wasn't already a thing.
The counterpoint for this is going to be that all of the politicians in developed nations are going to say, see, only cryptocurrency is used for criminal activity, not we don't need a centrally controlled currency system. It's going to be wild if this unseats like crypto helps unseat the petrodollar, but that's maybe too many steps ahead.
There are many other branches that could happen first. Was it the monkey's paw curls?
Yeah. This was also disappointing to see this week.
Yeah. HealthEquity data breach affects 4.3 million people.
So your prescriptions and your drug history and all the horrible things wrong with you.
The person who gave the quote in the article was like, it's not as bad as what we thought. And then I was reading the rest of it, and it was like social security number, your banking information, like all your personal net stuff. I was like, that's pretty bad.
They said, well, we have 15 million accounts, and only really 4.3 of them are we're going to have to reach out to those. It's like, not fabulous.
Yeah, I'm not feeling good about it.
Yeah, so they published some information about the breach and some other details, but...
It's an isolated incident. Is it, though?
Yeah.
It never is.
No, not really. Not really at all. This is a little bit of good news, though.
Yeah, U.S. agency puts onus on Amazon for sale of hazardous third-party products.
So you might be thinking, wait a minute, didn't they already do that with those really cheap, like skateboards or hoverboards or something from China that were burning people's houses down?
There's multiple things like that.
There was a bunch of lawsuits with that, and Amazon should have known, or maybe could have known, that when there were a few dozen customers that complained about those things turning into balls of fire, that maybe they should do something. They didn't. And so this is a more comprehensive explanation from the FTC, I think.
I think that's right.
It's Consumer Product Safety
Very short
Commission
article.
That covers about 400,000 products. And so this actually extends, you know how your power strips have like UL listed and Consumer Electronics Corporation, which does testing, and a couple other certifications? Those are important. And your local, Walmart or your local hardware store will get in trouble if they sell you electrical outlets that are not
rated to those standards.
Yeah, UL listed, and if you get a power strip that's not officially UL listed, well, it turns out those stickers are fake, and there's just not enough time to enforce those kind of things. Well, Amazon is going to be liable. It's a double-edged sword. Amazon, in the past, has been caught asking vendors that have successful products to tell them who their suppliers are and everything else. And then it seems like Amazon says, oh, let's contact your suppliers and just do business directly with your suppliers and carry those products as an Amazon Basics product. We've covered stories about that.
It's almost like Amazon's a little bit of a monopoly, and either they're too big to actually like look into any of the stuff they're selling, or they're just making knockoffs and again monopolizing the market. So
I've gotten fake Amazon Basics cables, which is impressive. Like what sequence of events led to someone counterfeiting and convincing Amazon to sell Amazon Basics cables that were not actually Amazon Basics cables? Like, how did this happen?
A lot of our KVM problems are weird cables, so double check all that.
I really do not care. I think Ivanki and JSAUX and like all the randomly named cables, like sometimes they're fine, but sometimes they're just the most absolute garbage tier cables ever, and it just seems to be random.
That's why I'm almost like I almost never order stuff from Amazon anymore.
Yeah,
because it's like I don't know what I'm gonna get.
Yeah, it is. The Intel in the business section that's coming up. People that bought Intel CPUs on Amazon. And there's some reports of people having some trouble using the RMA process for the Amazon Intel processors. It turns out those may have been relabeled OEM processors, or maybe not. I don't know. You're gonna have to stay tuned to the business section in order to find that. A little bit of a short week because Ryan's out.
I think we have one more story.
Do we?
Yeah.
Do we? Yeah, I guess just one.
So Yahoo.
I have to click the cookie pop-up.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. I've got one more. Just one more.
Microsoft pushes U.S. lawmakers to crack down on deepfakes.
Yeah. I added this one.
I missed this one. Give us a rundown.
This looks reasonable on the surface, but what I want you to think about with this is Microsoft and OpenAI are in a position to control the market, and so whatever regulation comes down, they're going to be in a better position to respond to. And so this is the beginnings of regulatory capture. Yeah, fun times. Anyway, we're going to have a lot of fun stuff in the business section. The business section is enormous
That is the longest section this
week. It is crazy. You still got 20 minutes. You'll be fine.
Yeah, it's like I said, this has been a chaotic week, chaotic day for me.
I lost 2 entire days this week. I'm barely awake. I'm sorry. It's fine. All right. Catch you later.
We love you. Bye.
We do. Subscribe, Patreon, Float Play, and everything else. We appreciate you. We're doing a lot. Thanks.